What's up guys, this is Chills again back with another video. I wanted to talk in this video about armor upgrades and the 5.3 patch in general. So I wanted to quickly go through some of the balance changes that 5.3 has added to the game in a series of videos, and this is the first one. Uh, Keep in mind that this could change with another patch, so if the next patch cycle comes around and these videos are outdated, I will make it known or just remove them from the channel if they don't have any other relevant information. Keep in mind as well, I'm going to be talking really with the very heavy fighter as my example, but let's go through how the armor upgrades work. So, what armor upgrades do is they add hit points to your ship with the trade-off of additional mass. Additional mass makes you a little bit easier to hit. It makes it harder to dodge incoming weapons fire and missiles, which I'll get to later in the video. So, what mass does not do is make your ship turn faster or slower. So, your turn rate is not going to be massively affected with the additional mass. Where you're really going to feel mass changes is going to be when you try to change directions quickly. That's the best way I would describe it. So you will notice that when you try to change directions quickly, your ship is going to be a little bit slower to do so, and that can mean the difference between taking damage and not taking damage, and having missiles explode onto your hull versus not. So keep that in mind as we talk through what we're about to talk through. So let's go through the armor upgrades. Starting with the tower, we're just going to go through the info cards. The tower will give you an additional 15% HP and an additional 10% mass. This line down here is your nanobot repair amount at 15%. What you'll notice is that your nanobot repair amount is increased 1-to-1 with your hit points, and I'll quickly explain how that works. So, with your nanobots, using a very heavy fighter as our example, the nanobots give you an additional 600 repair capacity at base, and that equates, in this case, to 3 hulls worth uh, per ship. So a defender has about 13,000 base HP. You get 66 nanobots, and what that means is you effectively have 3 HP bars worth of healing with your nanobots. That stays 1-to-1 even if you increase armor. So going back to the tower, your hit points are going to increase by 15%, and your nanobots are also going to repair 15% more. So whether I run no armor or I run a tower, I am still getting the same amount of heals from my nanobots in proportion to my health. So you're getting 3 HP bars, just like you would be if you were not running armor, but those 3 HP bars are all bigger. They've been increased by the tower plating that you've added to your ship. Going to the battlement gives you 20% additional mass at the benefit of 25% increased hit points and repairs. The castle is 35% increase in HP with a 30% additional mass, and the stronghold gives you 40% additional mass for 45% increased HP and healing. Now, the keep, which you notice I skipped over, is unique in the sense that you actually lose hit points when you put it on, so you're losing 15% HP in repairs, but you are also lowering your mass by 10%. So, what this means is that you are going to be harder to hit, but you are also going to have less health in general as a trade-off for that. I don't want to go too deep into my opinions on what armor is the best because it'll make the video 10 times longer than it needs to be. But I think you can't really go wrong with any of these. I think the keep is one you use at your own risk. It is really reserved for players that are confident in their abilities to dodge fire. And I really don't think most players are suited to it. I think you'll be shooting yourself in the foot in a lot of cases running the keep. But you will not go wrong with any of these armor upgrades. Where you may get into trouble is with some of the much heavier armor upgrades. So looking at the stronghold as the primary culprit of this, you will notice that in group fights you will take a lot more damage from missiles potentially. It's much harder to dodge missiles and torpedoes with the stronghold armor. So keep that in mind when you go to put these on. You may find yourself taking more damage. When we tested this, we didn't notice a major time to kill difference between any of the armor upgrades. So really, they're all up to you. Armor is a much stronger dueling tool. Typically, the heavier ship will win when it comes to duels if players are equally skilled. In higher levels of play, that changes. But increased armor typically is a positive for duels, and it is a neutral or negative in group fights, depending on the nature of the group fight. Um, in a big fleet fight, mixed fleet comp, you are going to have everyone with lower FPS, which means that everyone's hit rate goes down, and you can get away with running heavier armor in larger scale fleet combat scenarios. I think increased armor makes more sense. You're not going to go wrong with any of them, though. Give them a shot and see for yourself how they work. And I may go into a more in depth video in another one, but for now, that will do it. Thank you guys.